I'm Sven Beckert. I'm a professor of history at Harvard University, and I just published Empire of Cotton, A Global History. It's a great honor to be nominated for the Kundl Prize, and it's somewhat of a surprise. I mean, as you can imagine, I spent about 10 years researching the book. I spent many weeks in dusty archives and remote locations, and when you're in the middle of it, you can't really imagine that this is ever going to be a book that is going to be widely read, and then you can even imagine less a moment like this one. And so I'm delighted that my book has not just found an audience in many different parts of the world, but now that it's also being recognized with the nomination for the Kundl Prize. But the book covers the entire history of cotton, and it covers it from a global perspective, so it deals a lot with the agricultural side of the story, which has a lot to do with slavery in the Caribbean and Brazil and the southern United States, but it also very much focuses on the industrial side of the story, which first unfolded in Western Europe, in England and France, and then the northern United States, but eventually also in places like India, Brazil, Mexico, and elsewhere. And it does talk a fair amount about the difficult working conditions, not just on the slave plantations, but also in the manufacturing enterprises, in the industrializing parts of the world. And that's a story that in some ways it doesn't continue in this particular way in Western Europe or in New England, because that industry almost disappears. But that industry then moves into other parts of the world, such as China today and Bangladesh and Vietnam. And often working conditions in these parts of the world are still quite as bad as they were in Western Europe in the 19th century. So this is one of the stories that the book tells. But then the book also tells the story of the tremendous increase in human productivity that was at the core of the Industrial Revolution. And so we have both. We have a world which is characterized by great injustices, by great violence, by a great degree of coercion, but we also have that world of ever-increasing productivity that, again, is at the root of our contemporary relative prosperity in many parts of the world. But of course, the history of global capitalism is more than just the history of cotton. And so the project I'm engaged in now is to write just that global history of capitalism that goes beyond just the history of cotton.